it will install from internet to your local machine. That's how the libraries are going to install in your machine, right? Using the pip command. The sample of one command, just if you're going to execute this command here, just look at this: pip install, or the version whatever you have using in your machine, pip3 install pandas. Okay, everybody's know about the pandas library. So that's a one method how you're going to install pip install pandas. Another point is when you're going to install, use this command, so the pandas library will going to install on top bottom of your hardware. Okay, and now here this is a one isolated environment. Each and every project of your machine would be able to access this particular library. But the point is, let's suppose how you can simply install two versions of any library. That was a one recommend. Okay, if you will discuss about the virtual environment. Some sort of times, if you are doing on top of multiple project, and inside the multiple project, you have to work along with a different version of Django. Then just you need to create a one isolation, right? Now that's isolation comes to the picture, because here you can simply install a one version of one library. Okay, otherwise if you're going to install another version, that particular version will going to upgrade the previous one. Not visible. Oh, yeah, just can you draw one more message if my screen is visible to all of you? My screen is visible. Okay, thanks for the confirmation. Actually, some candidates, if you are not able to see my screen, guys, please rejoin the meeting. After that, you will get my screen as well. Okay, thanks for the confirmation. And now this is a now whole machine. Now the point is we have to create, we have to do the isolation here. In case of isolation, let's suppose, oh, yeah, actually just I have created a terminal. On top of terminal, I am using the only notations. I didn't open anything until yet. Okay. So now the point is just we have, if the point is, let's suppose these are the two sort of things what I'm using here. Okay. So now what I need to do, so let's suppose these are the two projects where I'm working right now. Just I have created a two isolation environment. And what is actually the isolation? The isolation meaning is, let's suppose if you will install anything in this particular folder, so that particular folder will not allow to use those library inside another folder. Okay, that will be completely different from another environment. So now the point is you have to create a one isolation directory, and inside the isolation directory you will install the sort of libraries inside the directory, not in the actual operating system. Okay, that's how the isolation will gonna work, or the virtual, just you can simply say. So now in our case we will create a two isolation directories, and in both directory we're gonna install the python. Okay, we will install the sort of libraries. Now the point is, whenever you will create the isolation directory, or just you can simply create a one isolation project, inside the project you have to install Django again, otherwise you would not be able to see. So once you want to create a one isolation directory, inside the directory you will install the python commands and sort of things. Okay, after that you have to activate your isolation environment. When you're going to activate this environment, just you have to install the Django specific version what you want to use. Okay, you can install any version according to your requirement. In this case, just you have to activate this environment as well. Okay, once you have successfully activated this environment, just you can install the Django on top of inside this directory. Okay, so now both the directories could be installed a different version. Okay, that's how the isolation will gonna work. How you're gonna create this directory? Okay, one you will discuss about the isolation. There's a n number of library you can simply use. So in my case, I'm gonna use a virtual env. So first of all, we will install the virtual env that will create an isolation for you. After that, we will install the Django. Okay, and using the Django, we will create the project here. Okay, that's how we will work. So let me clear these notations. And now what I'm going to do here. So the first of all, we need to install a one isolation library. Okay, using that particular isolation library you have to create. So let me install the module name. What you have to install, virtual env. So that was the one thing you can simply install in your machine, or either that's a n number of library you can simply use. Sometimes the user will gonna use a virtual wrapper. Okay, so you can use any one of them. So I'm gonna use the virtual env here, and this is a one module which is used to create a isolation project, and that particular project will not be interfere into the another project. Okay, that will be completely isolated. In my case, it's already installed. If you want to verify, I'm going to verify as well to you. Just look at the option here, or either just I'm going to list my all packages what I have installed, and just look at the virtual env. So that was a one confirmation, that's a one verification what I have done. So in my case, I have installed a virtual env. And now why do we need to create a virtual environment? Actually, we are creating the virtual environment here to separate our project as a different file. Okay. Now the point, if you're going to share your project, okay, if you're going to migrate your project from one machine to another, so on that case, just you can simply migrate your old libraries as well along with the project. Okay. That will not create a dependency issue for the testing as well. So that's why we are creating a one isolation virtual environment here. So I have installed. So let me create a one environment as well, guys. Okay, I'm going to create my environment in a specific directory where we have already stored our old programs. So let me open the skill center folder. Okay, this is the one folder where I have opened where I have stored my old programs. This is a folder, right? Now inside this folder, I'm going to create a one directory named the web development. Okay, that's how we're going to work. So inside the directory, we will create a one specific isolation project. First of all, virtual environment. After that, we will install the Django inside the virtual environment. That's how we will gonna work. So let me close this. Okay. And now just I have created a one folder or directory. So this is a directory I have created. Let me switch inside the directory here. Okay. And now right now I'm currently present inside the web development. So we need to create a one isolation virtual environment here. Okay. So how you're going to create a virtual environment? So once you're going to install a virtual env machine, so automatically you will get a one command name as a virtual env. Using this command, just you can create a Python virtual environment here. So let me create, just you have to put the name of the environment here. Let me put the env1. Okay. The name of that virtual environment could be anything according to your requirement. Either you can choose the skill center as well. Okay. So this is the env1 what I have choose here. Now let's suppose in my machine, I have installed a multiple version of Python, right? If you want to verify, just look at this. This is a version 2.7 I'm using here. This is a 3.7 and 3.8 as well. So the point is I have to mention the Python version as well. Okay. From which version you have to create a virtual environment. Otherwise, by default, it will take a 2.7 or 3.7. So now the point when you are trying to create a virtual environment, so inside the virtual environment, which version you will get, because that will be the one isolated environment you are trying to create here. So let me mention the Python 3. Okay, either you can mention the full version here, what you want. So I'm trying to create a virtual environment. Okay, let's create this. So now the point, it will create a one virtual environment for you. Okay. And now the version of that particular environment will be the Python 3. Let me verify to you guys. Okay. Now just look at this. This is a one foolproof virtual env has been created. This is a one directory, and inside the directory, just you have to switch. Okay. And now this sort of libraries you will find here. In case of Windows, only you will get a different type of directory. Which type of directory you will get? So when you're going to open using the command line, so you will get a one script name directory. Inside the scripts, okay, you will get a one file, and the file name will be the activate.bat. Okay. So only you have to execute this command in case of Windows. Just this particular command, the back along with the backward slash, right? That's how you're going to path work inside the Windows. Activate. In case of Windows, just you have to execute this command. First of all, you have to switch inside the virtual environment, and this particular command will execute to activate your environment. In case, let's suppose in case of Windows, sorry, in case of Linux, how I'm going to activate my environment. So I'm going to use a one source command. Okay. In case of Unix or Mac, just you have to use same method what I'm using here. So inside the bin, that was the one file name as activate. I'm going to execute this file using this command. And now my virtual environment has been executed, has been activated successfully. Just you can verify using this particular method. Okay, that's a virtual environment you are able to see inside the sort of parentheses. Okay, that's how the virtual environment look like. And let me verify using the some sort of command as well. How you can simply verify. The point is, if you want to verify from where you are trying to execute your Python command, just look at this, because I have told you when you are not using the virtual environment, at that time, just look at the example, guys. If you are not using the virtual environment on top of this terminal, this is a completely different terminal. Okay, if I'm going to show the from where I'm trying to install my Python command, so this is a way. In case of Linux, I'm going to check. So whenever I'm going to execute the Python 3, okay, so the Python 3 has been stored in this directory. It will execute from this path. Now the point is, if I'm going to execute the Python 3 from here, or the Python, whatever you're going to execute, just look at this. Instead of executing your command from USR bin, now it will try to execute your command from a env directory. That's how you have created an isolation environment. Now whenever you're going to execute the Python command after activating the environment, so your command will be going to execute from the bin, not from the base directory. That's actually the virtual environment how gonna work, right? So now I have created a one virtual environment here. In case of Windows, the method was same to create your virtual environment using the same command. The only command will be changed to activate your environment, and the command will use script activate that. If you want to deactivate your environment, just you can simply use a deactivate. The command in case of Windows, the same. Just you have to use the deactivate, and now that particular command will deactivate your environment here. Now the point is, because in my base machine, okay, just I have told you I have installed a number of packages as well. If I'm talking about, let me show. So what I have done. So actually until yet, this is what we have done. So let me explain one more time here. Don't be confused, any one of you. So I'm gonna open a one notebook for a better understanding. The concept should be understandable. After that, practical is very big as well, so not to worry. So this is what we have done. Let me explain one more time. So this is our base machine, guys. Okay, and now inside the base machine, I have just installed the Python actually. Okay, and where my Python command are exist inside the USR bin in the base directory. Okay, whenever you're going to execute the Python command, so the Python application, that particular Python application will going to execute by the base directory or the base machine. What we have done, just using the virtual env, we have created a one specific environment. Inside the environment name could be anything, just we have put env1, right? Inside the env1, just we have created a one Python virtual environment. And now what we need to do, so now that time, just we have to install the Django. Okay, where I have to install Django, so I have to install Django in this machine. Just how it look like. So we have to install Django from internet. Okay, and where I have to install, to inside the env1, because inside the base machine the Django is already installed. Okay, so that's now what we need to do. So let me go back to the point. Okay, so in case of my base machine, just if I'm going to execute this command, just look at there. Okay, there's a n number of packages already installed. Just I'm going to scroll slowly. Okay, so these are the packages. The Django is already installed as well, but this Django has been installed on top of my base machine. Okay, and now when I'm going to execute my environment, so the base machine will not work. Base machine libraries will not going to work inside the isolated environment. So we need to install the Django inside the environment as well, guys. To install the Django inside the environment, so let me verify first of all it's installed or not. Freeze. Okay, let's look at this. So the Django is not installed. Okay, this is some sort of library which is already come along with your Python package, but the Django is not installed here. So we need to install a Django. So I'm going to use the same command. Just you can simply use this command. If you want to install a one specific version, just you can pass the version as well. Look like this. So you would be able to install the 2.0.1. Okay, that's how you can simply install. If you will install, just let it be. So it will install a one latest version of the Django inside the virtual environment. It's collecting the Django 3.1.13. Okay, and now it's take a while. It will install the dependencies. Okay, and now how it look like. So the point, let me verify it's installed or not. Let me check out the fridge. Just look at this. Now I have installed the Django in my virtual environment. The virtual environment name is env1. That's how you can simply install the Django in your machine. Okay. Now we need to create a one first project of using the Django as well. Now, just I have already told you, Django is a one sort of framework, okay? And the framework will always give you the one dashboard and the template. Just you have to use those template, okay, to manipulate your data. So you will already get some sort of libraries. You will already get some sort of directories in the file, okay? So the one question is in virtual again, we just install the Python, okay, not other libraries. Yep. Okay, just inside the virtual environment, it will automatically copies all the necessary library from the base machine and is stored inside the virtual environment. So now the point, guys, now we need to start our first project here. Okay, to start our first project. So first of all, what I'm gonna do here, so let me open the Visual Studio Code inside the current directory. Okay, and how you're gonna open the Visual Studio Code, you know very well. Just you can simply use this command on top of command prompt, and it will give you the one Visual Studio Code in open by default into the current directory, because I have mentioned that out there, right? Or either you can simply open with a normal method, you know very well. This is we have opened. Now the point, we need to start our first project here, right? So, and to start our first project, let me verify to you. So what I'm going to do here, the first of all, I'm going to activate my environment here. Been activate, done. And now if you need to start your first project, the command which you're going to use here, excuse me. Okay, that's cool. So this is a command Django -admin, okay, which we will use to start our first project. So this is a one command which is you will get from the Django, okay, because when you will install the Django library, Django framework in your machine, so by default you will get this command. And now this is a one command which is used to initialize the project in your machine, okay. Now the point is when you're going to execute this command, so you will get a n number of options. Okay, these are the some sort of, you can simply use check, dshell, compile, flush, load data, and the test server start project. So you will get a n number of options, or either you can simply say these are the subs command of the Django, sub command of the Django. So right now we need to start the project first of all. Okay, so if you need to start the project of the Django here, just you have to use same command, just put the start project. Okay, and after that just you have to put the name of the project. The project name could be anything, so let me put the project name here, skill center. Okay, so that was the one project name what I have include here, name is skill center. So it will create a one directory hierarchy. Just look at this, this is the one folder has been created. When I'm going to execute this command, the same command you have to execute in yourself as well, guys. Inside the directory you will get a one more directory name, the same name. Okay, that was a one file which is inside that particular file. You will get the one constructor file, asgi file, okay, and the wsgi file which is used to integrate your project along with any web server. Okay, and the settings is to use to manage your setting of your project. Okay, whatever extra you're going to install in your project, so all those settings you have to edit these files, guys. Okay, just look at the setting. Inside the setting you will get a multiple things here. Okay, so in the urls you're going to manage the urls of your whole project. Okay, and now this is a one manage.py which is present inside the main project, and using the manage.py, this is a one file which will gonna manage the your whole project. Okay, again and again you will not use a Django admin command. So always you will use a manage.py command to execute to manage your whole project. So this is a one default template you will get when you will create a first project inside the Django. And now this is the one basic template you will get. Now, according to your requirement, just you can edit these template. Okay, just you can simply modify what you want. So now the first of all, what I need to do. So this is a one command I have used here to create my Django project. The project name I have used is skill center. Now this is a project you have get skill center. Inside the skill center, you will get a one more directory name, the same name. Okay, that was a one main project files. Okay, using these files, just you can simply change, do the some multiple changes as well. And now the point is you can also create the app inside the Django. What I mean, so the point is if you will discuss about the app, so let me open this particular thing here. So the point is what is actually the app. So if you will open any file here, or if you're going to open any website what you want, so let me open the Swiggy. Okay. So now the point, when you're gonna open anything, what do you want? So the point is, inside a one application, you have a multiple options. Okay, what I'm talking about, let's suppose if I'm gonna open a swiggy.com here, what does it mean? The point, inside this, just you have a one login form as well, right? So inside this you have another sign up form as well. And when you're going to log in successfully inside the Swiggy, you have a one customer database, you have a one separate navigation. Okay, you have a one more payment gateway as well. So do you have a multiple varieties of sub applications inside the one bigger application? Okay, you have a different pages here, just contact me and the about us and the n number of thing I'm talking about here. Now the point is, when you will discuss all the things here, so the point is, just you have to split your application into the different part. Because if you heard about the microservice or the monolithic, so in case of monolithic, just you have to create your whole application into the one file. When you will create your whole project inside the one file, that was a one major issue comes to the picture. Let's suppose if you have created your whole project inside the one file, and let's suppose if your payment gateway is not work, or let's suppose your database history is not, you are not able to fetch your database history. So on that point, just you have to take the downtime of your whole application. Okay, just you would not be able to troubleshoot a one part of your application, because you have create whole application code inside the one file. If you're going to troubleshoot that file, just you have to take a downtime of your application. And nowadays that's not possible, right? So just what we have done, just we are using a microservices here. What does it mean? Just we have create our applications into a different file as well. Just we will create a one process on the one service for a one part of our application, and after that I'm going to combine all the services at one side. Okay, that's how we need to create the app inside the Django as well. And what is actually the app? So app is a one subdivision inside the website. You can open any website here. So the Swig is not work. So if I'm going to open the homes here, so now the point is that these are the multiple option you will get. So let's suppose this is a one search here, this is the one login page. Okay, these are the different cities you will get here. So these are the different app has been created inside the website. Okay, just we have to manage those apps according to the URL. Okay, when a user will gonna execute this particular URL, okay, from to where you want to, which file you want to execute behind the scene. So all things will gonna happen according to the URL and using the JavaScript function as well. Okay, if a user will type anything here, let's suppose if a user will give you the login. Okay, so now this is a different URL. So when you're gonna put the login here, so your application will gonna work differently. Just look at this. You will get a one different page. So all these things you will get according to the URL. So now you have to understand the concept of the URL as well. According to the URL, you're gonna redirect a user into a different web pages. Okay, so that's why you will get a one different file inside the Django project as well. That will be the name as URL. Okay, so inside the URL, you're gonna manage all the URLs here. When a user will give you one request, so where you want to send that particular request and what you want to redirect on top of user's screen. So that's how you're gonna work here. Now the point is, let's suppose I have created a one basic project here, and now first of all, if I'm going to execute my project, that was a one very basic command, Django -admin. Just you don't have to use right now, just you can simply use a Python command here. Okay, I'm going to put the Python. Okay, after the Python, just what I'm going to mention, first of all, I'm going to switch inside the directory. Just we need to execute the manage.py. Okay, just we have to use a one sub command name. The sub command will be the run server. Okay, so that was a one sub command we can simply use. If you will not use this particular sub command, just you will get the old sub command when you will execute the manage.py. Just look at this. So all these are the subs command for the authentication. Okay, for the content type, for the Django, for the sessions and the static files. You have a multiple sub command. You can use any one of them. So what I'm going to do here, so the Python, so I'm going to mention the manage.py. After that, I'm going to manage the run server. I'm going to execute the one sub command name as run server. And now it will run your server, what you have created inside the Django. Now that was a one default template you will get from here. Just if you want to open your template, just look at this. I'm going to open the URL inside the Firefox. That's how it look like. So this is a one default Django web page which is look like, and this is a version 3.1 what I'm using here. And now I have successfully created my first project of the Django. I didn't create any request on list of URL. Okay, but that was a one different, that was a one default URL. You can simply use name as admin. If you're gonna open the admin there, so you will get a one Django login page here. Just you can log in inside the dashboard and you will get the dashboard of the Django as well. Before that, just you have to create a user and the password, okay, using the sub command of the Django project. I didn't create anything yet, just you can simply pass the slash URL. This is the one slash URL I'm trying to pass. So one the by default will slash gonna pass, so it will give you the one default page. The install works successfully, congratulations. Now you can modify the project according to your requirement. That's how it works. So let me open. So what I'm going to do here, so the point is only I have created my project. Okay, I'm trying to pass my default file as well. I'm going to use a control C, the same command you have to use in case of Windows as well. And the control C is a one command which is used to interrupt your project. It will stop your project at the same time. Now what I'm going to do here, the point is, let's suppose now we need to redirect our user a different web page when a user will gonna give you the multiple requests. So the point is, if I want to create a one app for that, okay, so this is the one default database which is used inside the Django. That will be the one SQLite, okay, so which is all default. This is the one default database which is used. So now the point is I'm going to open the skill center, and now inside the URL, just look at this. Right now, just only you are manage the two URL, the one URL. What will be the URL? That will be the admin slash. If you're going to pass the admin slash, your request will going to execute a one different thing here. Okay. So just you have to create your own functions here. Just you have to create your own views as well. So now these are the files I have already explained. That was a one constructor file. Okay, this is an empty file, you know very well. Now when you will create a one module, always you will get this type of file. And the ASGI and the WSGI will is used to integrate your project along with any web server, like look like the Apache, Nginx, and the Tomcat. Okay, both the files which is used to integrate your server along with the web server. The setting is a one file. Okay, inside the setting, just you will store all the Django setting for the skill center project. What does it mean? Okay, from which path you want to import the subdirectories. So this is the path. What's the secret key? This is the one very important. Okay, using that particular key, anyone can modify inside anything in your project. So this is the one very confidential thing you have to store if you are managing the whole project here. Okay, the debug is default true. Whatever the user will gonna send a URL, so all the debug you will get on top of your terminal. The recently this type of output is managed by the debug, right? Because I'm getting this type of request, right? When a user are trying to hit on top of slash, I'm return something to the user. So that was when a debug is true. And which allow hosts, if let's suppose if you want to deploy your project, then you have to do these type of entries as well. And the default applications is installed. These are the default application which is already installed. And now I have already told you application one was a one subdivision of any website. Okay, now if we need to create a one home page and the about us, just we have to create a different app for that. If we need to integrate the payment gateway, then we have to create a one different app for that as well. So now the point what I'm gonna do here, so the first of all, we need to create a one app here. Okay, when you're going to create a one app, so you have to modify the setting.py. Inside the setting.py, you will let you know your main project. He just have created a one more application. Where you're going to create a one application inside the main directory, that will be the skill center. How you can simply create a one app. So if you want to create a one app, just you can simply use the same command python manage, and just you can simply use the start app. Okay, you will get all the sub commands when you will execute without the this particular command here. Just look at this. So these are the commands you can simply execute. And now that was a one sub command I'm using to start my app. Either you can create the user, it will create a one super user. Using that particular super user, you will be able to manage your whole Django dashboard. I will create a one super user as well, don't worry. So now I need to create a one app. So what command I'm going to execute? The python manage and the start app. What app name you want to take? The app name could be anything. It could be contact us, about us, payment gateway, the map, and the location. So it could be the home as well. So you can choose any name of the app. So I'm going to choose a one home. Okay, so this is a one app has been initialized, and now inside the home directory, that was a app you have created, you will get a n number of file as well. Just look at this. You will get the migrations if you want to migrate your app. This is the one constructor file, you know very well. The admin, which was used to administrate your particular application, which will use to app here. What is actually app you have create? Actually, the admin and the app is used when you will create the models or the database in your application. Okay, then you have to register your database inside the. Just look at this. Just you have to register your models here. What is actually the models is? So model is a one file. Inside this particular file, just you have to create the database. Actually, in case of Django, actually models, whatever, you can simply create a database. Okay, if you want to save a specific entry inside the database, then for that you have to create a one class, and those particular classes are called the models. So actually we are using the MVC here, right? So now this is a one test file if you want to do some test stuff in your application. And now this is a one very important file name as views, and inside the views just you have to write your Python code. Okay, so this is a one command actually what you are using with views. Okay, so until yet what you have learned inside the Python, so you can simply create those functions, those methods inside the views only. Okay, apart from this, just you have to manage, just you have to modify a little bit setting. Otherwise, only the Python code will gonna return inside the views.py most of the time. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, just I have created a one app. Okay, app name app will be the home. So first of all, you have to give a one entry of the home app inside the setting.py. Just you have to let you know to your main application, I have created one app and the name of the app will be the home. Just you have to add, because this is the one list, right? Default, you can add a one entry. This is a one app you have created, just put the comma after the app. Okay, so this is the one thing what we have done. These are the some default template which is used. This is the some databases which is already used, DB SQLite inside the base directory, the all these things. Okay, which is time zone, static URL, and all these things. So this is what we have done. So we have just simply add a one entry of our app name inside the install app. Done. The second thing, what I need to do, let's suppose I have created a one app. So the point, I have created my app for a reason. If a user will send a request on top of slash, okay, it's your choice. If you want to redirect a one web page when a user will request on top of slash, just you have to take a slash URL. Now the point, if a user will send a request on top of home, then you can simply choose the home URL here. So according to your requirement, you can choose the URL as well. Okay, but this time just I didn't start my project as well. So the point, if you are talking about the slash, just you can open this particular thing. So first of all, inside the main project, this is a main project, right? Skill center. Inside the main project, just you have to open the urls.py, and just you have to add a one entry here. What entry I'm talking about? So inside, just you have to add a one path. A path one is a one default function which is already import from the Django URLs. Okay. Now this is the one thing what we have done. This is a path what we have I'm trying to use here. The first of all, you have to pass a number of parameter inside the path. What parameter? Just you can simply pass the path and the pattern and all these things. Okay, and sometimes you can also use a RE path. That was the one latest you can simply use. Okay, instead of path, we are also using the RE path. Inside the RE path, just you can define the sort of regular expression inside the URL. Inside the path, you cannot use a regular expression. So the which path I'm trying to use? I'm trying to use the path empty, or either just you can simply pass the path here, colon and the dollar. What does it mean? This is the one basic regular expression I have used. And now what does it mean? This is the one empty URL. What does it mean? When a request will gonna hit a slash, so this particular path will be redirected. This particular path will gonna execute. Or either just you can simply let it be right now, because if you're gonna use a regular expression, just you have to mention the RE path. So I'm gonna put empty here. Okay, so when a user will send a slash request, so what I need to do, so let's suppose I have created one app, so I need to send that particular request on top of home application, home app. So for that, just I have to include a one more thing here. So that was a one function which is named as include. So I have import that particular function from the Django URLs, and I'm gonna call that particular function. Okay. Inside the include, just I have to mention, okay, when a user will gonna send a request blank. What does it mean? When a user will give you the request on top of slash, so you will include the home.urls. What does it mean? So that particular request will gonna redirect directly to the home URLs. Inside the home, just you have to create a one file, urls.py, because inside the one app you can also manage the n number of URLs, right? Because inside the app, if you can simply use a home here, just you can simply use a login page and the sign up page, you can do all these things inside the one app as well. So this is what we have done. So this is the first modification what we have done, guys. So inside the main project path, just we have put the one URL. Okay, so if a user will gonna redirect a one slash request, that particular request will gonna redirect on top of home.urls. That's what we have done. Save this thing. Now the point is actually what you need to do. So you have to use the same sort of things inside the another file as well. So let me copy. So that was a one file I have created, urls.py, inside the app, inside the home. And now inside the urls.py, just you have to put the, just you have to import the same URL, because now you're going to use the same thing here. And let me remove all these things. I'm going to execute the path again. That's what I need to do. Now the point, when a request will gonna execute by the urls.py, when a request will gonna handle by this file. So again, the point is, if you have an empty request, just I'm gonna use the same thing. Okay, what I'm gonna do here, so when a request will empty, so when a request, when you will execute by the slash, so which Python function you want to execute, just you can simply execute any function. So let's suppose I'm going to execute a one home function. You can create any function name. You can execute the add grant function as well. So this particular function you want to execute, okay, that's cool, no issue. But the point where the function is present, so just you have to create your views or the function, which will be called as a controller as well. So just you have to put your functions inside the views. You can simply say the views is a one file which is called the controller, okay, which will control your whole project. So what I'm gonna do here, so I'm gonna import from dot, I'm gonna import the views, and just I can simply use the views.add. So what does it mean? When a request will gonna empty, so along with the empty request, I'm gonna execute the add grant function which is present inside the views file. Okay, so I can simply use this method, right? From dot import the views, and I'm trying to execute the add grant function from the views. I didn't create until yet. I'm gonna create this function as well, not to worry. So this is what we have done. So open the views.py, okay. And what I'm gonna do here, just you have to create a one function named add, okay. And inside this particular function, you will get a default one request, okay, one, you can simply say one URL with the argument, okay. And now just you have to define the functionality of your function. And now this particular function, when will it will execute? So this particular function will execute when a request will be empty. Just look at this. If you're gonna open the URL, this is an empty URL, okay. Now this particular function will gonna execute this time. So what I'm gonna return to the user, so I can return anything according to my. So let's suppose if I want to return a one HTTP response to the user, so what I'm gonna do here, from Django HTTP. Actually, in first session, guys, just you don't have to remember all these things. So just you have to check it out. Actually, when you're going to do the practice, you have to learn sort of these things as well in case of starting, because it's a total different what we have learned until yet in case of Python. So now some sort of things actually you have to remember in case of this thing. So from Django.http, okay, what I need to import. So I'm going to import the HTTP response. Okay. So I'm going to return a one HTTP response here. What response I'm going to return? Hi from add grant function. So this is what we have done. So just look at the flow of your program. Okay, I'm gonna close these directories. So just look at this. So first of all, one you're gonna start when you're gonna run your server. Okay, when you're gonna put the slash request. So the request will gonna handle by this main URLs. When the request is empty is or slash, so it will include the home.urls. That particular URL will gonna redirect your request on top of the home app inside the URLs py. Inside the URL py, just we have defined another path. If a request is empty, so it will execute the views.at because you have created one another function inside the views. So that was a one function which gonna execute when a request will gonna empty, and when it will execute, it will return a one HTTP response, and the response will hi from a grant function. This is a very basic thing done. Let me run my server again. I have run my server, no issue. Open the this thing, just hit the request. Just look at this. This time my request is slash. Just put the slash here, and now you will get the hi from ad grant function. Just look at the flow of your program, right? If you're gonna pass a different URL, let's suppose if I'm gonna pass the Sachin, how it works. So the page not found, this URL you didn't initialize, you didn't define this URL. Okay, the current path Sachin didn't match any of these. Okay, so that's how it's gonna work. But the point, if you want to create a multiple URL, just you can open the home URLs, and here you can simply create. How? Just path. Let's suppose you are trying to create a one URL name as Sachin. Which function you want to execute according to your requirement? Either you can create a one Sachin function. How you going to create a Sachin function? Just open the views. Okay, inside the views, just you can just look at this. Okay, has no attribute inside the views. You will get that error as well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a one Sachin function. I'm gonna handle a one request. And when this particular function will gonna call, I'm gonna return one HTTP response. Hi from Sachin. Done. No issue. All things fine. Let me open. Just if I'm gonna put the Sachin here inside the URL, so you will get the hi from Sachin as well. That's how it works. So that's how the multiple URL you can simply execute. Now I'm gonna show how you can simply render a one template, guys. What is actually the template? Because this time only we are trying to redirect our normal HTTP response. And at some time you have to redirect your full index file. Okay, you have to redirect your HTML file as well. So first of all, if you will discuss about the templates, so just you have to create a template directory inside the app. First of all, I'm going to create a one directory named template. Okay, so that was a one directory I have created, template. When you have created this directory, so what I'm going to do here inside this, just you can create any file. The file name could be anything, the index.html. This is a one file. I can create any code here. So I'm going to put heading hi from template. This is what we have done. Just create a one paragraph, lower m 100. Okay, this is done. So this is a very basic index.html I have created, guys. Now the motive is, now the challenge is we have to redirect this particular file when a user will gonna send a specific URL. The URL could be anything. Either you can simply send this particular file when a user URL will gonna empty. So on that point, just what I'm gonna do here, just I'm gonna comment this function. So when a URL will gonna empty, so I'm gonna redirect. So I'm gonna handle this particular function here. Instead of return the HTTP response this time, I'm gonna render. Okay, because the earlier just we have written a normal HTTP response, but this time I'm gonna render. What do you want to render? So just you can render anything. So first of all, for which request I want to render? For this request, I want to render the index.html. This is what we have done. That's how you wanna render the template as well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save this file and just open the URL. Without Sachin, I'm gonna pass the empty URL here. Okay. Oops. No, the spelling is wrong. My bad. The directory spelling should be, guys, templates. Okay, let me change the directory spelling. Don't worry. Okay, Done. So let me open the URL again. Just a moment. Inside the template, just I have create index.html and all these things. Python manage run server. Just look at this. Hi from template. Okay, that was a one mistake what we have done. That was a one spelling mistake. One, I'm gonna hit the empty request. Either you can simply add the home. One, it will work. So just you have to put the home there. When a user will gonna call a home URL, then on that point, just you have to open this particular file. Whatever you're gonna return inside this, all these functions will gonna handle by the views. Let's suppose if you want to authenticate a user, you have to fetch the values from there. Then all the program just you have to use inside the views.py. Just you have to do the Python programming inside the views. So that's how you can simply create a one basic project using the Django framework. Guys, if you have a doubt, just you can drop your queries into the chat box. Actually, just you have to see this particular video again. Okay, that was a one very basic, more concept what we have cleared in today's session. So this is a one query. So let me check it out. Can you also tell us about the next step from this point? I like to make a desktop application using the MySQL, and I also want to become a full stack web developer, and my front end is shorted but it's back end. I know the Java basics in the Python. So what should I my next step? Okay, so according to, let's suppose just you can simply learn the any framework. Okay, so just you can simply start from the web development, guys, and now using the web development you can simply start, because the when you will discuss about the Django framework, actually the Django framework is very easy as compared to another frameworks, but Django is very worse, but you can simply start from the Django. Okay, what was the error? The error was a one spelling of the template directory. The spelling I have used a template, the actually that was a templates. That was the error what I have correct. Okay, if you want it out, just you can drop your message into the chat box. Okay, and now if you want to create one desktop applications, so you have to worry about the Kinter library as well of the Python. Okay, in case of if you will discuss about the Java, then you have to worry about the GTK. Okay, GTK and the Kinter, which is used to create your desktop applications. Okay, anything else? Okay, and you will get the assignment shortly, guys. Okay, just you have to complete the last assignment of the Python as well. Yeah, you have to install Java itself, JDK. You just have to install a JDK to build your project. Yep, Jython. Just you can simply install the Jython. Okay. If you want to build your Python project using the Java as well, just you can simply use the Jython there. Okay, so just I have drop a message to you. So I'm gonna deactivate the environment, guys, and now that's done. Let's wrap up this session for today. It was the one last session of the Python. Okay, now you can simply drop your more queries into the Slack workspace if you have any queries. Goodbye and take care, and do the practice for your interviews as well. Bye.